Oh, hell no. Time to pray for people who've been oppressed is over. Now, for some reason, it won't let me show the entire comment that my guy here made, but all based on the video, and he probably doesn't know what my channel is about. My channel is a deconstructing Christianity channel. So you may not know that, and that's fine. That's cool. You came here for the little known Black history, and that's cool. So nothing against you personally. But what I got to say about this, as far as people who have been oppressed, them needing to have a day of redemption, and we need to pray to the Creator for all oppressed people, that's what got us in the situation we're in now. You see, they came with the Bible and we had the land. By the time we lifted our heads, we had the Bible and they had the land. That is what caused our oppression. That is why the people in Africa were oppressed. The people in the Americas were oppressed. The people in India oppressed. That's why. But you know why the people in China, the people in Japan were not oppressed? Because they didn't accept that religion, nor did they accept you coming in and taking their land. See, the only place that you find oppressed people is in the place where they were allowed to come in and take the land, take the government, take the military, and then you become oppressed. And then for those that were shipped around, the ones who were in India and they were shipped to Africa as slaves, the ones from Africa who were shipped to the Americas as slaves, those became the oppressed even more so because now they were people without a land and without a history. At least the people in India have realized how to go back. Some of the people in America have realized how to go back. But the people in China, the people in Japan, never did they let them take their land. Never did they let them take their military. They maintained their own identity. So saying that the oppressed need to pray, prayer doesn't get you anywhere. It wasn't prayer that moved the needle for the ending of slavery in the Americas or ending of slavery anywhere. It wasn't prayer that ended apartheid. It wasn't prayer that brought about civil rights. Prayer never brought about any of those things. It was actions. And even though some of those things were peaceful demonstrations, peaceful protests, the main impact was the fear of violence. The second main impact was the fact that you messed up their money. Our ancestors messed up their money. You see, those marches that you saw all through Americas in the 60s, it was messing up their money. That's why they finally changed the rules. They were in fear that the peaceful protesting was starting to wane. And so we can't have violence. So let's go ahead and give them a little bit, just a touch, just a taste, so that they'll sit down and be quiet. Let's integrate them into our system so that they'll sit down and be quiet. So you want us to pray to a God that many of us are walking away from. Pray to a God that many of us were forced and indoctrinated into from birth. Pray to a God that our ancestors were beaten into, forced into, away from their own gods. You see, one of those fears that they had is the Haitian Revolution of 1804, when they threw off the shackles physically and they threw off the shackles mentally by going back to their orishas. They got their country, they got their freedom. Now, did they come back and they punished Haiti for the last 100+ years with high taxation, embargoes, with making them pay back the people that they gained their freedom from? What other place did the people who revolted have to pay the people that they revolted, that they got away from, that they revolted from? Haiti's the only example of that. They took advantage of them. Haiti's going to make his mark. Don't worry about it. And that's the same thing they're trying to do in Africa right now. All those former colonial countries are trying to make the African countries pay them, trying to keep their federal reserves so that they stay financially indebted to them. And that's why they don't like countries like Ghana that's throwing that shackle off. They don't like countries like Zimbabwe. They don't like countries like Botswana. They don't like the Ivory Coast because they throwing those shackles off. The Senegalese countries, the former French nations that are looking to come together and form their own financial systems, the the countries that are looking to form the East African Federation and throwing off the shackles of colonialism financially. They don't like that. So they're doing their damnness to make you think that they're doing a bad thing. So prayer does nothing. Prayer has never done anything. Prayer doesn't work. When was the last time somebody went into a hospital and healed everybody in the hospital? Never. When was the last time you seen just hordes of Christians going into the hospitals and healing people? When was the last time you seen people going into war-torn areas and praying and all the fighting stops? Never. When was the last time somebody went to a prison and prayed for everybody and all the people became model citizens? Doesn't happen. Most of them become repeat offenders because our system of rehabilitation doesn't work. Tell me, when was the last time somebody went and they prayed and the housing market turned so that people can buy houses? When did they pray and businesses just flourish without you doing any additional marketing or some type of social media grassroots thing happen? When has prayer done any of those things? Never. And guess when prayer will do those things? Never. So I'm sorry, sir. Sorry, not sorry. But for us to have a day of prayer, did FDR say we need a day of prayer in order to fight against the Japanese? Did they say we need did Churchill say they need a day of prayer to fight against the Germans? No, they went to war. They went to war. When Japan lost World War II, did Japan say we need a day of prayer? No, they said we're going to go into a financial war. And they started winning that financial war. So no, sir. China's not looking to pray their way. America's not looking to pray their way. None of these other people pray their way. Oppressed people feel that way because they feel like they don't have anything, that they can't acquire anything. When the answer is, if you hurt them financially, if you build your own finances, build your community finances, build your state finances, take over areas politically, that's how you gain power. That's how you stop being oppressed. Praying, keep believing in a God that your ancestors were forced into. That is a way of self-destruction because you are mentally destroyed. So I know you didn't know what my page was about, and that's fine. And I'm not trying to convince you to be anything that you already are. You want to pray to this God that was forced on you, this God that there's no archaeological evidence of, go right ahead. But for the rest of us who are not interested in that, get your credit right. Save money, have cash, buy land, start businesses, become political powerhouses in your community, especially in the areas where we outnumber them. Take over the local government, take over the state government, make inroads into the federal government, and always keep yourself armed. If you want to not be oppressed, stop acting like the oppressed and allowing for the actual mechanisms of freedom to be not even taken away from you, to be presented to you in your face, and yet you do nothing with it. You take no actions, none whatsoever. Even for the people who believe in Christianity, your Bible says that prayer alone is dead. Faith without works is dead. Your faith is wrapped up in your prayers, but with no works is dead. Your Bible tells you that if you take one step towards your God, he'll take two towards you. That's not just praying. That's action. You got to take actions. Ecclesiastes said, do many businesses because you do not know which one will succeed. It doesn't say sit there and pray for manna to fall from heaven. And even when the manna fell, they still had to go collect it and they had to grind it and they had to bake it. So they still had work to do. Get to work, my guy. Prayer does nothing. Absolutely nothing. As with all things, always remember you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.